from like for just one day. So I know a few bits.
Do you know about the coke stuff?
I know you got robbed by thingies. Yeah, you told me that.
Okay.
That was
You
the
haven't
day
missed as
after.
much as I thought.
I woke up the day after you got robbed, and SK was made leader.
Okay, so he hasn't missed too
You just
much.
missed the
I missed the
latest
last
thing
like
of
2-3
stuff.
days. Well, I noticed one thing. I noticed that on my documents, there's this thing that says Tommy's gang, and it just says Tommy take you smell. But I just thought it was probably like, I don't know, Star or something.
Yeah, I put that.
Yeah, that was bizarre.
All right, yeah, no, I gathered that.
Yeah.
I can give you the
Yeah, go on, give me the tea, the
the accurate
juice,
rundown.
the accurate, yeah. What?
Both me and Patar were the only ones present for
Not
the
the MANDEM
situation.
rundown.
But essentially, Patar and T were having a conversation. Was it a couple days ago now? What? Yeah, day before yesterday?
It'd be like 3 days ago now.
Okay.
3 days ago, right? So Patar was having a conversation with T, and I get a phone call from Patar, being like, "Yo, can you come link me and Tommy? I'm having a conversation with Tommy."
Yeah.
I actually still don't know what was the conversation before that. You was just
We were talking about Gold
chatting?
Rush. Yeah, and he
Oh,
was.
okay.
You know how since day one we've always used like Gold Rush money for like meth runs, for
Bits
wars,
and
for
bobs,
this and
yeah.
that.
Oh my god. Oh lord. It's a
What the fuck?
snapping turtle.
Snapping turtle.
Yeah. So
He's
T
dead.
was upset that his money was funding the wars and shit like that and this and that, and was like, "Oh well, what you're telling me is, my money was funding guns for the wars, was funding
Should probably
money for the
drive somewhere
sprays."
that isn't his house.
In your defense, though, he says that it is his money, which it is, but you did do all the work, so
Yeah,
you,
no,
like you deserve some. I would say you deserve some of it, you know.
yeah, I
Like
mean,
25 mil left.
I mean, listen, like, you know, if it was a year ago, I'd see
set
why
you
he's
up, Ping.
pissed. But like, there's not anything he could buy now that would even, you know what I mean, that he'd even be interested in.
yeah, I mean, the thing is, Gold Rush has paid for all his cars. I mean, it's a successful business,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm pretty sure he's got like 40-50 million cash alone.
Nice.
So
It
is
was
a
always
successful
less about the
business, you know?
money with him and more about he didn't
About
want
the
people to
point.
rely on it. innit?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Which I do get the point.
I
No,
went
Like,
through
I
it.
can
that.
see both sides to it, right? I respect the angle of you don't want people to rely on money and a trust fund, but I can also respect the angle of being in a gang, seeing your leader have access to all these funds and then not, you know, like I can understand that perspective as well,
Yeah.
but his angle isn't wrong.
No, not to discredit what he's saying at all. I can understand why he's pissed. It is his business, his money at the end of the
Yeah.
day.
I think it's more of the principle that it made us
But did he
lazy.
not? Did he not? I mean, he was aware of that
I don't
situation, though.
entirely
No, it's not
agree
like
with
we
that,
were
though.
stealing, though, were we? He was fully aware of as to what was going on, right?
The 25 million that he claims was spent out of Gold
25.
Rush for the Mandem.
Yeah.
I don't know if like realistically at the end of the day, Patar and Tommy are the only ones that have a full understanding of the Gold Rush
I won't have a
situation anyway.
Scooby.
So
But that's the thing is if it is I think it was 15 million on wars. The 25 because the thing is I bought his Lambo through Gold Rush. I paid
I got
you know
tappy,
that
thanks for the same one, bro.
GTR you had. I paid
yeah,
that back
you
from
paid
Gold
for that,
Rush.
yeah.
I bought something else for him through Gold Rush.
So what? He's pissed at you now.
Regardless of how much it is that was spent, it was all knowingly. Like it wasn't. You are right. Like at that time, there was no money taken without his knowledge. It was always he was aware.
Then? Yeah.
But so they was talking about Gold Rush, whatever. I get a call to pull up. Why did he want me to pull up, by the way?
He wanted you to pull up because so we were talking about Gold Rush. He was talking about how I spoon feed the gang and that's a problem. And how He was talking about how he wanted to make the Mendem pay all the money we spent on wars through Gold Rush. And then that's when you were brought, if I'm not mistaken.
Wait, so he said that before I even arrived. So before the conversation went south, he'd already said about
If I'm not
paying back
mistaken.
the money.
Yeah, if I'm not
I
mistaken.
didn't know that. That's interesting.
I could be wrong, but I can't lie when
Oh,
conversations like that happen. I don't remember
There's no
what
one.
happened before and what happened after, you know?
supposed to do that.
But we were talking about the gang slightly too before you came. So I don't know if that was before or after. But there was a conversation about the gang, and I don't know if that was before or after. I can't lie, I don't remember.
Yeah, that's quite an important detail, really, because if he was already on, because I know he obviously said about paying back and like the block and stuff like that. What when I arrived,
Yeah.
if he was already talking about that before I'd even had involvement, like that makes a big difference to the whole tone of the conversation in general,
Well,
because he had already kind of made his mind up.
I was gonna say,
Before
I'm
I
I know we
even got
confused
talked
there.
a
about the
bit.
gang before you arrived.
Let me give Jay the full rundown,
Yeah.
and then we'll go back to this and try and get to the bottom now. But anyway, basically, Jay, right? So they was talking about Gold Rush. I get a phone call from Qatar, sounding very serious, saying, "Yo, come to Summer Ping you. I'm talking to T right now."
Right.
I get there. I go into the subway with them. I'm talking to them, and like I guess this. It was kind of like, would you agree, Patar, that the angle of the conversation was kind of Tommy pointing out to me and Patar all of the wrong that he saw in the gang, kind of just being like, "This is wrong. This is wrong."
Right.
Really,
Right.
just trying to give his view on the gang.
Right.
I think
Okay.
it was more he was decided with what his decision was, and whatever you told him, he wouldn't have agreed until he saw action. But that's pretty much the angle of it from what I saw from my perspective, you know?
Yeah.
He was saying to me, he was telling me what he thought was wrong with the gang. He was talking about people in the gang being dead weight and not actively contributing and evolving with the times and stuff like that, and giving that like his perspective on direction that I should take, but quite assertively, you know, like being like, if you like, you need to do action, get rid of dead weight, stuff like that. But the whole angle I was saying to him is, I see you, but you're currently talking to me about action, but whilst doing the talking thing you're telling us not to do. Like he was, it was no different to a conversation we've been having for the last year, you know? Like it wasn't anything that was new information. But
What?
it was a
So
bit,
was he trying to like? Was he trying to like point you in the right direction? Was he that? Was he? What sort of like? Was he on smoke or?
it was like the from get-go the conversation was relatively like tense and heated, and it was a lot less of a, it was a very different to how he would have communicated with each other like a month or two ago, right?
Right. Okay.
He basically asked me, he was like, name the people you see as dead weight, and was kind of pointing me in the direction of, you should get rid of the people who aren't pulling their weight around. But what I was saying to him is, you know, I don't disagree with what he was saying, but with me getting appointed to leader, everything that's happened beforehand, right, and the stuff I've seen has all been dealt with by him.
Yeah.
So moving forward, anything that happens will be dealt with by me. So for me to come in, I'm not going to just come in
Start doing
and boot
stuff.
out six
Yeah.
people when they didn't have an opportunity to change under new leadership, right?
No, that's
I
fair.
want to come in, see if there's change, and obviously if issues do present themselves, then I'll have to deal with them like as the new leader. But I'm not just going to come in and start
Doing a
making people
madness.
step down, drop their chains and shit like that when I
Yeah,
haven't
yeah.
given them a chance to prove else, like anything else to me.
I heard that.
But that was like what I was saying to him. I was like, look, I'm seeing this as a fresh slate, action, stuff like that. And he was basically on the energy of, well, you're seeing it as a fresh slate, then nothing's going to change. Questioning it, like testing me. And then like basically the conversation was still relatively civil. And he started mentioning, well, you know, like the gang was reliant on Gold Rush money. Like everyone was lazy. They was reliant on it. And I was like, I agree with you. But I don't think like that was fully all of the issues with the Mandem. I don't think all the issues stemmed from the financial dependence.
No,
And he was
definitely
like,
not.
he was saying about the money and how he thought that was a big thing. And then he said, well, what if I asked you to pay back the 20 million? Like, he was talking about that it's owed.
Yeah.
I was like, you don't, like, I'd already considered that you might take this lane. Like, you don't need to go down that lane. Like, there's no need for us to do all that. Then he kind of waved the card of, well, I own the block. What if I kicked you all off our own block? Kind of started bringing up stuff that felt a little bit like he was trying to, like, wave around what he could do and almost make like threats
kind
in a
of
way.
basically big dick you is what he was doing. Like he wanted to remind you that no matter what happens, he is still who he is.
Yeah. And it's like that got presented, and then for me that kind of shifted the energy, because at that point it kind of made me feel like, well, if you're truly trying to better the gang, which is what he was trying to tell me he was doing by stepping away, which I don't disagree. Like, I've made this very clear. I don't think him wanting to step away was necessarily bad intentions. I just couldn't. I just can't understand it, you know?
Yeah.
But that kind of made me think, well, do you really?
Down, didn't he?
Well, we will get to that.
Oh.
But yeah, when he started voicing like this whole like gang, the block thing, and like the gang paying back the money, I was just kind of like, well, this whole energy of this conversation has now shifted to what feels like threats. And it's like, would you really, if you had the best interest of the gang, be talking about the opportunity to take their home away from them? And at this point, it wasn't at a point where he had any reason to be doing that shit. Like, it wasn't beef. Like, it was just like a discussion. So he said that. We was talking. I was just saying to him, like, look, I can sit here and talk to you for as long as you want and say what we're going to do, and this is how we're going to do it, and this is what needs to be dealt with. But ultimately, all I can do is go and put action to words and just do stuff. Like, I'm not trying to just dwindle on everything. And in that conversation, when he was calling the Deadwood, he said, like, well, one easy way to identify who's Deadwood is the two people that put their chains down at my mansion when I said I was going to leave.
Wait, who
Obviously
did that?
Patara and Moses, but they didn't. So at the time, you was there, right?
No.
Okay,
was I there?
This is the situation
No,
for that as
I
well.
don't think I was there.
Tommy says he's gonna walk. Everyone basically,
Oh no, I
including
was in
myself,
bed.
we
No, I
was
definitely
all
wasn't there.
just fucked up at that point. Everyone just starts like, in a
This
way,
was-
begging.
This was backing off Cruiser telling us that he's hasn't got long.
Oh
by the way,
yeah,
like-
Cruiser. Is he gone?
Yeah,
Oh
he's
shit.
dead.
He's dead. I mean, hopefully he's doing well, bless him. He's a good lad. Oi, oi!
Oi, oi.
Well, you were bad as hell.
Oh, Ronnie Cruz.
Aye.
Yeah, so this is like, we've just been gathered into a huddle and told how Cruiser is gone tomorrow, basically.
Oh
right?
yeah, no,
So,
I got told this because I woke up the day after is when I woke up.
Yeah, but what? So
I think.
everyone was just all over the place, like
I don't know when I woke.
trying to get him to stay. That's when I told him about how the whole week thing. You was there for that. Like, I told you that, innit? Where he said it.
Yeah. That's what
around
I'm,
for a week.
yeah. He said he'll stick around for a week. That's what I'm saying. I thought he stepped down, innit? Like, and you were taking
So he
over.
did.
Okay.
That was what it was originally for the week. But when he did that, both Moses and Patar was like, well, if you're just gonna chuck it all away like that, we'll put our chains down. But we spoke about that, and they kind of boiled that down to just emotion and getting the better of them. And they, you know, Patar's best to tell you that. Like, that's his
It's
thing,
more
innit? So-
show emotionally there. Like, I told him I had my chain in my apartment when I had it in my pocket.
And I already spoke to Moses as well, and his angle was, he felt like, well, he said at the time, I don't know with Moses, because he said at the time to us that he felt that he was holding the gang back as well or something, but he's had a big switch up with that, and he was like, no, I'm here, like, I'm not giving up. And oh no, I got my eye on him for that. But
I just want to say, like, all jokes aside, and I'm obviously like not being disrespectful here, Patar, but like, you are here for the gang, innit, and not for Tommy, right?
Yeah. I mean, I
Okay.
wouldn't have been here if.
Yeah.
The
no,
thing is,
obviously,
before,
I'd rather just
no,
ask you straight
100%.
up, because I don't want it to be one of them where it's like, you know, a few months down the line or whatever, and then we're asking questions. Like, no, I'd rather just ask you
Yeah.
straight up now. and then you tell me what it is. But if you're, I believe you, man. Like, you know, we've been around for a minute, so obviously I
Yeah,
do
That's
think.
I mean-
and in fairness to Jay missed that. We had very much had that question posed to the both of them and everyone as well. Like
Yeah.
a couple of days ago, I basically asked everyone, if you're here for the gang, stay. If you're not, the door's that way.
Yeah, standard. Like
And
it
everyone
took a
came
lot.
vote quick.
It took a lot of
Yeah,
us, man. You know, a long time to get these chains. And don't get me wrong, Tommy's a great guy, yeah, but I ain't putting it down for him or for I can't lie, no one in it. Like,
I think context missing in this conversation
well, yeah,
was
sorry, I think
someone
I've-
mentioned
I don't wanna be
mentioned
involved.
there will be no gang if you leave, and then that's
No?
like people. Someone mentioned that people will step away when he leaves too.
That
And it was more of
Mosley
an
now.
emotional night versus a gang night, you know. And it was just
Hmm.
more for show than actually putting it down.
Right. No, I mean, listen, I hear it. Like, I can understand from like an emotional standpoint. It's like, you know what, then, like, yeah, I can see it. And I think it's just one of those things where it's like, when someone chats to you about it after, you better have like a very strong reasoning as to why you did it. It can't just be all like, yeah, I don't really know, like, nah. But anyway, sorry, SK,
Yeah, no, we had
carry
a
on.
chat afterward about it.
Yeah, no, yeah, you've heard it out. That's minor.
I believe that like people are here for the chain, and if they're not, then they've just straight up lied to me, you know.
Yeah,
Yeah,
what happened
I
after
mean,
that then? Sorry.
I'm just saying, Sparky, I would have shot you if
Yeah, no, I know, bro.
after
Patar,
the fact, you know.
don't sweat, bro. I
Oh.
know you're still here. I know. Don't
Yeah.
stress.
I don't want to ruin the timeline, but I like if I was purely there for one reason alone, I would have shot you there and then.
You made it very apparent you're on this side and you're on London, bro. I know that.
Oh, so what have I missed then? What happened after that?
Basically, right. So going back to the conversation, because we're skipping around everywhere.
Yeah, my bad.
Fucking no, it's all
I'll
cool.
shut up.
So basically, it gets brought up. He said the people who drop their chains is a good place to start. Like as being dead weight. So I said to T, I said, so are you saying that Patar is dead weight? And he kind of at first was like, nah, like not like he kind of bounced around it and said like a little bit, but not really kind of thing. And I just kind of kept going back to it and being like, well, you did just say that. And then eventually he circled back and said, yeah, that is what I'm saying, and kind of literally doubled down on it, like in front of Patar. Obviously, that's just and I said this to him. I said, as a second in command, Patar would agree with you. Like if he would have said as a second in command, it's different because Patar understood that second in command wasn't his thing anymore and that it didn't go as good as it could. But as a gang member, like you don't get better than Patar.
I was gonna say I wouldn't say that. I mean, he may have made mistakes, but everybody has. He's definitely not dead weight.
Yeah, exactly. Not dead weight in the slightest.
Yeah, definitely not.
I don't know if he doubled down because I kept pushing it back to that topic, or if he doubled down because he truly thought it. But regardless, like he said that to Patar's face, and that kind of also that as well as the threats thing. Just
I'm confused.
didn't
Why
sit
is he
right with
picking? Why
me.
is he picking fights?
The whole conversation was very like back and forth, and from the moment I arrived, it was very like evident that it was tense. Like was it like that with you and him, Patar, before I got there? Like was it a tense conversation?
Yeah, it was pretty much like it's my way or the highway in a sense. Like you're wrong, I'm right.
Yeah. That was kind of what it was like. So he said the whole Deadwood thing, and then we was going back and forward. He was telling me like what I should do and saying that I wasn't seeing things right and that I didn't understand what he was saying. And I to be completely honest with you, all of you, I did understand what he was saying. I just didn't like what he was saying, and it was hurtful what he was saying to me. And I did get it, but I didn't voice that to him because it was hard to hear. It kept pushing, and then we kind of tied off the conversation. And I said, like, we'll just show you. It'll be action. Like, we're just going in circles. This is it. And me and Patar go to walk away. And T says, well, if you're... I've seen enough. You can have this. He puts his chain on the ground.
Hmm.
So I go over and I pick up his chain, and then I shot him. And I know that might come as a shock. And you might feel a little bit like, why?
Well, why he shot him?
Yeah.
No, I know exactly why he shot him. Put his chain down. I'd have shot him as well. What the fuck? At the end of the day,
Alright.
yeah. At the end of the day, right? Like we aren't in this for each individual person. We're in it. We're in it together, as whatever with a family, a gang. Doesn't matter what it be. And if you're leaving that, you're leaving everybody for yourself. You get duffed. Be what it be.
Well, I'm glad you backed me on that because I've said this to everyone. As a person, as me, that was my mentor in a sense, right?
Mm-hmm.
Put me on to everything.
Because you would have done
And I
the
would
same.
never have ever wanted to do that as me. But as a gang member going into a leader, I had to stay to my word. And I said at that mansion, at that original meeting, I said in front of everyone, I said, if he steps away, I will have to shoot you, Tommy.
Yeah, no, that's standard.
And
I
I
can't
couldn't
lie.
go back on my word.
Anybody, the thing is, he would have done the same to you.
You wouldn't have.
What you don't
I
think?
can.
You don't think
I
he would have
know.
shot SK?
I was with him when he told Dean to drop his vest, and the only reason Dean got dropped or shot was because he refused to drop his vest. He gave him more than enough opportunity. I know for a fact he wouldn't have shot none of us.
I don't think T would have shot you, but we at that circle we did say we want to. I don't know. It's tough
At the end of the
because
day,
the
bro,
gang is not what the gang used to
what's
be.
happened
and
has happened.
We're
bro.
evolving,
Yeah,
you know.
yeah.
And that's what
Don't
everyone wanted in the gang, no?
don't get caught up on it. I mean, listen, it's one of those things. I mean, it to me for me, like I see that as perfectly fine. It's like a blood in blood out type situation, right? Like if you're gonna hang up the chain and say this, I'm done, then you should very much be anticipating that, and that should be like a reminder to everyone that we're all in this for each other. But it depends on the energy afterwards, though, you know, because like you know, you don't get me wrong, you can leave a gang and still be cool with them, but I don't know, some of the shit you said.
It
just
also, you know, our the view on that whole situation is very much still dictated by Tommy, because with the fact we're having a conversation of Tommy wouldn't do that, the reality is Tommy left the gang.
so
it doesn't
what
matter
are
what he
you
would have done.
worried?
Exactly.
Are you worried now? Are you worried now?
So
The
there's still more
repercussions?
to it.
Oh, okay, sorry.
After he was shot, right? After he was shot, we are not going to be able to know the energy that he's going to come with, right? Like you said, could be calm, could not be. It
Yeah.
could go either way. So, as a security measure, I said to Patar, move the money that we have in the gang account to a separate account right now, just in case he wants to go and drain it or do, you know, just protecting ourselves, covering our tracks.
Smart, yeah.
And then, Patar, you could tell Jay what you did, because I still need to speak to you about, like, fully what you've got on the other end.
T wants action, right? That's
Right.
always what he said. I ran his company since the start, and I've only paid myself basic salary.
Yeah.
Not even salary. Only when I sell gold pants. So I took some action and I paid myself for running his companies.
Ooh.
So I took 2 mil
Okay.
from UK Oil. I took 3 mil from Gold Rush.
Yeah.
And mass majority of the gold I kept in my tier 3s regardless, just so that other employees don't steal the gold and sell it back to the company.
Mm-hmm.
But I also took a little bit extra gold,
Oh.
because without me, that gold would have never been there. And I want to see if he actually truly cares about us, or if it's all about the money nowadays.
Hmm.
By the way, we had a brief conversation about this yesterday, Patar. I was saying you should move that into a warehouse that T doesn't know about, because there is a chance he goes the legal route and tries to.
I do
get
have
you
a
raided.
question, if you won't mind, before I forget.
Mm-hmm.
The way that you said to me, SK, the way that you said to me that you shot him, you said it in a way that you anticipated me to not like you doing that. Like, do people disagree with your decision, or?
people have vocalized they don't agree. Like I've said, like when I did that, I stand by what I did as a leader.
I mean, I
But
told you, Sparky.
I vocalized to everybody. It doesn't matter if you agree or disagree. I did what I did because that's what I had to do as a leader. I'm not going to sit here and make people agree with it, but that's the reality of the situation. That's what happened. I don't mind if people disagree. That's fine.
I mean, I told you the day of, Sparky. As a gang, I understood why you had to do it. As me, it was tough.
But that's
know?
how it should be for everyone. That's how it is for me. Like
Yeah.
you have two different ways of thinking, right? As me, knowing T for as long as I did, as a person, if I wasn't in this gang life and I had to do that, bro, I can't lie and sit here and say, oh yeah, it was easy for me to do that. 100% it wasn't. But it's exactly what I had to do as a gang member and as a gang leader, bro. And that's like, you have to accept that as a gang member. You don't have to accept that as a fucking a person beneath.
Yeah. I mean, you saw there and then. As gang me, I drove you out of there. But as me, I wanted to take him back and at least take him to the hospital, make sure he's not dead, you know? And yes, as a gang member, that was probably the wrong thing to do. But I'm gonna be honest, my emotions were there. And I wanted to make sure at least he was alive, you know?
Yeah. But yeah, to answer your question, yes, people did disagree with it.
I just
I
feel
think
like any other gang would do it
disagreed. I accepted it. No one has not accepted it.
I think the
But
big
the
thing we
people
need to
have
get in our
disagreed.
mind is in that circle, we all vocalize that you're our leader. So regardless what decision you make,
Is it Monday today? What day is it today? It is Monday.
we have to accept it. But at the end of the day, we should be respecting your decision because we put you in that position, you know?
Yeah.
And if
people-
anyone
people
had
just need
something to say, there and then
Mhm.
they had their chance to object, you know? So no one can complain after the fact.
I can't really see anyone having an issue anyway, because at the end of the day, if we're all in this for the gang, I mean, if he's saying threats like that, he's like trying to completely fuck us all over, like maybe even try and split us up type thing. So with SK going into leadership, you know, that's kind of keeping us all together and keeps us going. There shouldn't be no complaints.
Nah, you're right. The issue is people are still like people are still going about Mandem as if it's Tommy's Mandem. Not everyone's used to it yet and understood the change. And that's the same for me. Like I've got to adapt just as much as everybody else.
I understand
night-
that. Like, I'm not taking nothing away from him. What the guy's done and how he's done it, and the fact that we are only here because of him. Like, I'm not taking nothing away from him. But at the end of the day, the show goes on. Yeah, like we're gangsters. The show goes on. We're not here to be moping around.
Shit ain't
like
easy, bro.
yeah, shit happens. People die. People leave. People come and go. I know for us in particular, it's going to be a little bit harder because it's so hard to get in and not very many people leave. So I do get it. Maybe it's a bit easier for me because I didn't see him as much as you, man. But at the end of the day, if the Don's gone, he won't really in it for you anyway. He's gone. He's gone and done his own thing. All right, let's go. Off we go.
I mean, the thing is, that night the Mandem did change. You know, we did decide we want to be more gang, more this, more that, and everyone had their chance to speak. And I know some people might feel like it was more like Sparky demanding it and not actually giving them an option, but I feel like that was everyone's chance to speak of the direction of the gang. You know.
I gave everyone a chance. If they didn't want to speak up, then they didn't want to speak up.
So what's going on now then? Like what?
So this is the aftermath sitch, right? So Patar's got all this money. Right now, I've told him to essentially freeze it and hold that as a chess piece because we are now essentially against T.
Right.
The night of or the night after, there was bombs dropped on the block.
What sort of?
lot
What do
of
you mean? What do you mean bombs?
What was it, Patar? Like
Bombs and
Molotovs,
Molotovs
fucking
and-
yeah.
Bombs
the
and
fuck?
Molotovs and bombs and Molotovs and bombs.
What, like
I
from a
got told we got
plane?
airstrikes, bro.
Yeah, what, like
Yeah.
from a plane? What the fuck?
I don't know. There was so much black smoke and debris everywhere. I just saw fire and bombs and explosions.
Wait, so what pissed him
Means-
off? You shooting him or stealing his money?
The combination, I assume.
I think the combination.
Oh, okay. Sorry, carry
So-
on.
Just to give you a heads up as well, he be texting all of us.
Yeah, he's
Right.
trying to get in people's heads.
Oh, you don't
What
be
I'm
texting
doing,
me.
just to let you know, I'm like
I don't wake up,
playing
to be
into
fair.
it. Like I agree with him and like giving him like
We agree
I'm-
with him on what? Sorry.
I'm agreeing with him on everything, so he thinks I have him. So
He's
he
being a
thinks
double
he
agent.
has me on side. And what I'm currently working on is trying to get
What
him
do
to
you mean?
explain himself to
Confused.
me. So
Uh-huh.
when he does that, I'm just gonna complete glaze it and agree with everything and be like, yeah, I agree with that take.
So what
So
are you
he-
agreeing on right now, though? Like, what's he pissed
Just
about?
his take on the gang, you know.
Oh,
He hasn't
right.
said anything yet.
Oh, okay. I
I
understand.
agree
he's
on a lot of
basically
his takes,
trying
to
to
be fair.
He's trying to basically what Matt's saying he's doing is what T is now actively doing. Let's go through this logically and structured, right? So the airstrike happened at the block, and now what's happening is we're in this kind of tactical warfare with T. He's
Oh,
obviously
God.
pissed about being shot and having this money taken from him.
Yeah.
He's hit up Patar, offered him a chance to take the money, give the money back to him. It's been ignored. He's then rolled on with the smoke. So what we've had so far is the airstrike. We're assuming that he is going to be operating very like mental. It's not going to be as streetsy as what we're used to when it comes to fighting certain shit.
So we're at war.
So there's been a lot of, we're not at war, but we're definitely
Uh-huh.
a mental war right now.
Okay, okay.
We all of a sudden see a resubmergence of a Solomon Walker out the blue, randomly, right?
Wait, they've done that. Oh, wait, he was in a coma or
The
something,
one
was he?
Patar shot. Right?
Yeah, shot him. Yeah, okay.
So we get a call from him being like very casual and normal, in like, oh, how you doing, chaps? Like, let's meet up for a catch up. So I'm thinking, right, so
Right.
why is the man that's been shot by a MANDEM member coming to us so casually, just to chat? So I've gone and spoke to him with Steve and Matt. He let us know, right, that he'd known about the bench for how long did he say, Matt? Like since August.
Yeah, since August. He knew about it because Qatar disappeared and so did the supply chain.
But I can say that with.
Oh,
like,
what?
yeah. No, I get that.
When we all flew to London.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
So he said he knew about the bench since then. He also said that because he owns like a container up by the fucking Zancudo, he knew where
Zancudo.
it was, and that he'd
Apparently
seen
he saw
Patar
the
go
black
in there in a
G-Wagon.
G-Wagon with an orange interior.
So,
So he said he's known where it is
Right, Okay.
and knew of its existence for a while. He also
Uh-huh.
told us that Patar shot him because the conversation went, Patar and him had a chat. He went to Patar and said, something seems off with our friendship. Is everything okay? Patar said, yeah, everything's fine. Solomon thought that Patar was lying to him. So said, I guess we're not friends, went to walk off and Patar shot him. But what Patar's told us that actually happened is he was questioning him about the bench and trying to get a definite answer out of Patar of, do you have a bench or not?
yeah, it was
basically.
more like let's kill the elephant in the room, and
What?
this is the last time you'd see me. So let's be honest
Kill
with
the
each other
elephant
for
in
one
the
last
room.
time. And I'm like, there's nothing I'm hiding from you, nothing like that. The being off conversation was a completely different conversation to impressing for me to admit about bench one last time. So then after I told him, yeah, there's nothing wrong, he's like, I wish you could have been honest with me. Because I thought we were friends, but I guess we're not friends. And then he walked off.
Yeah.
So then I turned around to Denzel and I told him, give me a reason not to shoot him. We couldn't come up with a reason not to shoot him. So I stepped out. I texted him. I guess we're not friends, ... or something. And then I domed him in the head, drove his car over him, blew his car up, and left him there to die.
Oh shit. I'm not gonna lie. Every time I hear that guy's name, it's always regarding a conversation of him getting in some involvement or snooping around.
I mean,
He was never in a coma, by the way. So we looked into his ICU records. Apparently, he got checked in and then ran out and escaped like in the same hour.
but what
Like,
did he
they
tell
left
you,
the-
boys?
He told us
told
to
us
his
he was
face
in
that
a
he was
coma.
comaed for a month.
Month or two, yeah.
Yeah.
You think he?
But he also directly asked us, upon pulling up, he'd been back around for a day. And he said to us, he said, oh yeah, so for context to this, Tommy started tweeting. He started tweeting, "Mandem, you owe me 25 million," and just like I said, mental warfare, trying to spread a narrative in the city, trying to get to people, to make people ask questions and just make our life difficult, right?
Yeah, I hear
So
that.
he's seen the tweets. So he's come to us and he said, "Well, what's going on with Tommy? I've seen the tweets and I've checked Gold Rush and none of you are employed. So what's happened there?" And just straight up to the point, immediately just asked us about it. So I've given him nothing, because at this point, what reason do we have to believe that he hasn't just re-emerged to help T? Like, he's come out of nowhere. Guy could have been dead, and now all of a sudden he's back when this shit's kicked off.
You know what I find the
It
weirdest
just doesn't
is
line up.
the day he comes back, he instantly knows that we lost the bench.
Well,
So I'm not gonna lie, it seems like. Sorry.
He also said the reason he wasn't angry was because the world gets you back in like a way eventually. He was speaking it more like some
riddles,
loony
fam.
guy.
Yeah,
it was
yeah.
riddles, but it was like he basically was saying the world gets him back like through karma.
It
And
sounds
like he was
to
implying the
me
bench.
like if he's saying that he knew about it for months and he didn't go in a coma, all of a sudden the Saints steal it and he's lying about being in a coma. Who's say he didn't just fucking tell them? Because their
That's what I'm
story,
thinking.
their
That's
story.
what we also
And do you know
said.
what's funny? What did I say when it happened? Did I not mention his name? And everyone was like, "Nah, he's in a coma." I mentioned the guy's
Yeah,
name.
you did mention his name.
I said, like, what has he got anything to do with it? Because he's been poking about. Who's to say he didn't just give him the tip off?
Lied about the coma.
Yeah, their
So the
story
other
was
thing
dead.
is, he's only had that storefront there for about a month or two. I don't think he's had it there for too long.
He's had it for a
red
while,
flag.
to be fair.
Has he?
Yeah, he has had it. He's had it since. He had it since prior
I'm
to
hungry,
the
bro.
bench getting taken. I don't know how prior, but definitely prior.
Do you know what's a red flag? The fact he said black G-Wagon. You haven't had the black G-Wagon for that long, bro.
I've only had the black G-Wagon for maybe a month and a half now.
But like
And
I
you,
say,
how long would you have had that when the bench got stolen?
It probably would have been a week or two max.
Exactly, because you were going to that bench in the Cullinan for such a long time.
In the Cullinan, or I'd take like a Buccaneer. Most of the time I'd go there was in a Buccaneer. Like when I used to go there alone, most of the time, it was mainly in a Buccaneer. So I'd go rent a Buccaneer and go there with it.
like I say, man, every time I hear the guy's name is him snooping about or wanting some involvement in something, he probably just, like, I've heard his name like 3 times mentioned for the bench. More time, he tried to get some involvement, it wasn't happening. He probably hired or told Saints to buy it, they stole it. Wouldn't surprise me if all of a sudden he comes around the corner tomorrow like, "Oh yeah, by the way, I've got WAPs to sell, as many as you want." He's got a direct link with them.
Yeah, it's very sus of the timings on it. But ultimately, where we're at right now, with like the situation concluded and the next steps is T is gonna be trying to convert all of the connections we had and prove a point of they were his connections. I think
Yeah,
that's gonna be his movements.
He's trying to destroy everything that he built. He wants us to start again.
I feel like because of the way it's gone, it's he wants to show that this was him, and that's what he's going to be on. And I think we are going to see, like we've already said, we're aware this is going to happen. A lot of people are going to show their true colors and show that they only ever gave a shit about Tommy, connection-wise, and that it wasn't Mandem, it was Tommy. This is just a good time for us to strengthen the relationships with people who don't give a shit about that and actually was in it for Mandem. But we also are having to start our own narrative with it, and we've been public with the fact saying Tommy has left the Mandem, Sparky's now leader, and we just left it at that.
Yeah, like nothing more. Yeah, okay, like nothing more. I mean, I will say this, despite what he's done, you know, he's done a lot of things. You gotta remember that for a long time, you know, he's not been as present, so he's not really been the face of the Mandem like he was. I know that's like a big thing to say. Like, I don't think as many people will turn on like us like you think, because you have a lot of connections of your own. You know, Patar does, Denzel does, Matt does. I think there probably will be a few, but I don't think it's anything to show concern, especially because you gotta remember, a lot of people just trying to do business, man. Like, they might not be your friend, they might not be your enemy, they're just trying to make some money and you're buying.
You are right, but also in the same breath, I think you'll be surprised.
You
I think a lot of people. I think a lot of people are gonna switch up.
is there any sort of like example you could give me that who
I could see Lang and Cerberus dropping all beef they had with Tommy and just keeping it as a Mandem issue and settling their shit with T.
Mm-hmm.
I could see T go into Hydra, and I could see Hydra taking his side and completely not fucking with us. Which at the moment,
Really?
Miguel has ownership of our key. We're gonna try and speak to him today and just be straight up with him and say, look, T's left the Mandem. SK's now the leader. Like, we're gonna be continuing business as usual. Like, we got no reason to have differences. Like, let's keep it moving and try and scope out where their heads at. But they're not dumb. I think they're gonna play cards close to their chest. I think those two are big ones.
I'm gonna be honest with Hydra, and I've said this for a minute. They are cool people, but they will go down what avenue is best for them. Like at the end of the day, we're just another card in the deck. You know what I mean? Like they might be cool with us, but we all know, and we said this before, and I said this when we got the lab with them, and I'll say it again now. The second they need to, they'll fuck us over.
Mm-hmm.
No question.
100%.
Because they know in the long run, it doesn't negatively affect them.
Yeah, you ain't wrong.
We ain't gonna do nothing about it, and if anything, I wouldn't say we need them more than they need us, but it's pretty close.
I mean, yeah, I think it's 50-50. I think there's a chance they turn around and they go, look, we understand what's going on with you, but we'll stay tapped in with both sides. But then there's also the chance that they just like do what they do, where sometimes they just wake up and decide they want to fuck you over, you know?
Yeah, I hear that.
Just be prepared for either outcome, and regardless of what happens, bro, people are gonna come, people are gonna go with this whole situation. We just got to do us and keep working through it and level up. Like, it don't matter what disappears, we're all still gonna be here and we're still gonna keep pushing. No one's gonna take us off our block. No one's gonna do any fuck shit like that. If T starts even just paying people to come do shit to us on the streets, we fight. Like, it's that simple. We just have to. We just have to
go
go
a lot better because it's that like we ain't pushing them fights. It'll be a defense thing. So
yeah,
that's it, bro.
I know.
We're playing to our strengths, man.
I know everyone might have like different opinions on the whole thing, and I know mine might be quite like nonchalant. I'm like, yeah, it is what it is. Let's just move on. Like, that's just how it's gotta be. Like, there's no point sitting around moping, getting caught up on what has happened. Like you said, fresh thing, fresh sheet. You know, you're now leader. We chin up. You know, get moving. Shit happens. Be what it be. Now, I am curious though, because I did obviously ask Batar, and Moses isn't here to say anything. But you said you had a chat with him, and you sound like the way you said it was kind of like you weren't on the same page. What's he said regarding the chain dropping stuff?
I can't lie. I got my eye on him, but he seems to have become a different person. I don't know what's happened, but he's just gone very cold. I chatted to him, and he basically was like, yeah, like, fuck T. New slate. Like, this is the new Mandem. Like very in support of the movements forward. So if that's really the energy he's on and he's actually on a switch up, then fair enough. But we gotta see.
Yeah, I mean, you know, I know he was the one that was closest to him, so it's unfair for me to say like he can't be pissed off about it because it's his boy. I get that. But if he's here for the right reasons, then he's here, isn't he?
Yeah. One thing with Mosley is even when he shot, like when I shot Dean, I'm not gonna lie to you guys and sit there that me shooting my day one doesn't haunt me to this day. But he understood from a gang aspect, but from a day one aspect, he was just disappointed. So even for myself, I wouldn't say it's like that's how I would feel too, you know? I'm not saying I'm this, you know?
I don't know how much I trust it, you know. Like when T said it stay around for a week, and I spoke to him the night, like when T said he was leaving, and he was like, I'm not sure what I'm doing yet. I don't know.
You don't
like
trust
I said,
what?
I got my eye on it, innit?
Yeah, time will tell with that one. But
it's like I said to T, bro. Time will tell, and as things show themselves to me, like they'll be dealt with as the time comes, you know.
And we
Yeah,
just gotta
I think
be
it's
open with each
also-
other. Gotta remember that.
I think it's also
Yeah.
things we do because, in a sense, we can start pushing people away internally. You know.
I said this to Matt, and I voiced this to everyone in the car because he, to be full transparent, he called me and was talking about the people he felt like weren't pulling the weight equally in the gang. And I said, this is the thing, right? And this is what I want different. Rather than coming to me right now and saying these people aren't pulling their weight, go to those people and tell them you need to step up to avoid me having to then do something about it. If you genuinely care about the people in the gang and you want to see the gang do better, then elevate each other. And if you feel that way about them, don't go and tell someone that ain't them. Go tell them, and if it's a problem, then tell me and I can deal with it.